Welcome back to
Internet
Internet
girls.
Girls. Wow,
What's
wow, wow.
up? Wow, wow, wow.
We
we
need
need a sound.
yeah, we do. We do. One of these days.
Yeah, when
Put it
we have
on
time
put it
or
on the
energy.
no, we'll put it on the vision board. That's for like
That's for our podcast editor.
exactly. That's not for us.
Oh my gosh. Hi, you guys. This is our second episode of the year, but it's January 2nd while we're recording this. So, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hannah and I are doubling up on episodes because she's about to go on maternity leave. Oh my gosh, you're about to have a child. You're about to be a mother.
Oh my god. I had a little freak out last night
Really?
about it because my mom texted me and she was like, "You're giving birth next month." And I was like, "Oh, that's really soon." And then and then it's not going to be just John and me anymore. And as excited as I am for this, I feel like I'm also mourning the end of just us, it's just been us for 10 years.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have a whole new human that we're
Yeah.
inviting into our space. And I'm like, that's crazy. How do people how do you grieve that and also get so excited? It's such a weird feeling.
I know, but I think that that's so valid and so fair, and I think people are scared to say that, people are scared to be sad about that, but I think everyone would be, every single,
Yeah.
even if it's the most thing that you've wanted for forever, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's okay that you're feeling. I think that's totally normal.
I think it's normal too, but I hate it. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's normal, but I also just want to be excited right now. And I feel like I'm now coming to this realization and I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's just there's so much fear of the unknown because I've never done this before. I've never had a baby before. I don't know what it's going to be like. And John sent me this video that was you are going to have one of the biggest fights of your life in the first month of having a baby because you're exhausted and it's just a new experience. And I was like, don't send me this shit. I do not need to think about that. We don't need to have a big fight. Okay. We should just be happy.
No, we're gonna skip over that part. That's for everyone else.
I know. And this guy was like, it happens to everyone. I was like, not everyone though. Not me and John. We never fight. We're going to be solid. We have to manifest this shit. Oh, so many emotions. I'm just like, oh. And then also, John last night, he was like, you know how our front bathroom, the shower doesn't work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever you stay here, you have to use our back shower. We have two
Yep.
bathrooms, but this one, it just has low water pressure. We've never been able to figure out why. So John last night was like, I'm going to go investigate. I'm going under the house. I'm going to figure it out. And he comes back and he's like, we have to rip out the whole shower.
No.
And he's like, I can't figure out what the issue is, but I think we should just rip it out and put a bathtub in. And I was like, I mean,
wouldn't be a bad idea with a baby coming,
Yeah, this has been a worry of mine that I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to get an inflatable bath for her because we don't have a bath in the house. And I was a bit like, yeah, I could see it. So he budgeted it out and he was like, hopefully it's done before she's here. I'm like, what do you mean hopefully?
Oh my god.
I don't want her bring her home in a construction zone, but I do think it's a good idea. So anyway, we're about to do a big bathroom renovation. Not me. I'm not doing anything. But he's about to do a big bathroom renovation. And then I got all sad because I was like, but there goes all our weekends together. You're going to be working on the bathroom and I'm just going to be sitting there alone.
Oh,
so anyway, I'm going through it.
He'll take breaks because he's doing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because John is a handy dude. He can do all those things, all those kinds of things. Which how helpful is that?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, because I was like, I don't want to spend $20 grand renovating this whole bathroom. May as well have him do it.
No, 100%. He built that bookshelf behind Hannah right there, and it's massive. I know you can't see in the video, but if you follow her, it's huge. So many things.
He's done so much. So
yeah.
having a handy husband is really the greatest.
You know those people who like their husband is like, oh, I don't know, and they're like the first one to call and hire people. I'm like, that would be an ick for me. You
Yeah.
know?
Does Matt know how to do stuff?
He knows how to do stuff. He doesn't know, he's not as like carpentry as John is, but he knows his way around tools. Like he has his own toolkit. He's like, I
Hell
can
yeah.
fix that, I can change that. He's like very much like that kind of guy. And he would figure it out. You know what I mean? Like if I was like, "Oh, let's do this, but it would cost so much to do it." He'd probably just like figure it out himself. Maybe call a friend to like help
Yeah.
him. You know what I mean?
I love that. When you guys are in your homeowner era, it's going to be so fun because you're just going to be like, oh, I have this grand idea. And then he'll figure out how to do it. And like,
Yeah.
that's the best.
See,
Just
but
like
the thing
make
is,
your DIYs come to life.
but John, that was like his skill of trade for a long time. So he like doesn't even have to phone a friend. He's just in there doing it.
Well, he phones YouTube. He'll
Don't
like
we all?
come up with a whole plan. Yeah, he's like, he's got his little resources, and I think he's gonna hire my brother to help him with this because I'm obviously waddling around, not doing anything, but
Yeah.
that should be interesting. I just feel like there's like so many emotions. Like I'm at the point in pregnancy now where I'm still on my antidepressant, but I'm starting to like cry at everything. Like
Oh.
I will be watching a video on whatever that a person I don't even know, and I'll just start crying and I'll be like, that's so beautiful. Like I can't, I'm just an emotional wreck over here.
Oh. Well, I think that's hormones, right?
Yeah.
Which Matt has always told me, because Matt and I have talked about people who we know who've had kids that we know from back home, and I'm like, they don't seem like super. I'm not talking about you, but I'll tell you later. They're like, they don't seem super motherly. Like, and he's like, oh, don't worry, hormones come in, like, and they just like fix all of that. So even those like worries that you're having about like it not being you and John anymore, like right now, I know you're feeling that, but I know when she gets here, like those hormones and all that are gonna kick in, and you're just gonna be like, at first, at least.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think the problem is that like I don't know her yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait, we're inviting this person into our lives to live in our house for the next 18 to 20 years that we don't know. So
And
like,
we have to do everything for them.
exactly. I'm like, what if I don't like her? Like, he was like, you're gonna like her. I was like, what if the dogs don't like her? Like, what if you guys are way closer than me and her? Like, I have like all these new concerns because I'm like, I don't know her. Okay. She's just some rando right now. Like,
Yeah. That's so funny. I'm really excited. I know you're feeling all the feels as you should, So
yeah, you come visit.
I will. And do you see what's going on behind me?
Yeah, you're in moving mode.
We move tomorrow, so like all of our stuff is packed up, and it's not like it's packed up, but I've been just like moving and grooving, trying to get everything ready to go. We did decide last minute to use a U-Haul instead of doing multiple trips in the Jeep, which
Thank
thank
God.
God. Yeah, I had to like really convince Matt to do that. Like he was not wanting to do it. He's like, "No, that's like $200 probably." And I'm like, "So what?"
Yeah,
It'll be
it's okay.
$200 well spent. He was like,
How
and
far
then
is your new place?
it's 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah, no, that would be so much having to do back and forth.
Yeah, and I have a feeling like looking at all of our stuff, we're probably gonna have to do 3 trips. Because also, whenever we got this new Jeep, since it's electric, the battery takes up a lot more room in the back seat and in the trunk. So it like we lost a lot of space, so we just can't fit that much
Yeah.
stuff there. So it just makes sense. I think when we move from this new place, we're gonna have to really downsize, or probably just we're probably just gonna have to really downsize. Which I have realized that my clothes situation has gotten out of control. I need help. I maybe need to go to like therapy about this.
But also, like, it's such a great collection. And I feel like you're at this point in life where you need to have a collection of clothes. Like, I don't know.
No, I agree, and I have such that's how I feel about it. I'm so glad you
Mhm.
said that, Hannah, because I feel like I've curated, like, a fabulous select collection, you
Yeah,
know?
you can't just get rid of it, and your shit's expensive, like
I know, I know. It's like I have an amazing closet, and that has been, like, thoughtfully curated, and so
Yeah.
whenever I'm going through my pieces, I'm like, "No, no, I don't wanna get rid of this one, or this, or this, or this."
I wouldn't, honestly. You've been, like, sending things to Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep sending things around the world. Send it to California, send it to Oklahoma, send to Florida. Like, do not get rid of it. Just have it somewhere. Be
Yeah.
strategic.
No, you're right, you're right. I have realized this about myself is I'm going to have a closet room when we settle down. Like, I'm gonna have a room that's like my closet, and it can be like a closet office slash guest room situation, you know, like maybe Murphy bed it. Um,
Yeah, I love it.
but I'm gonna need a room like that.
I remember seeing our house. It's 3 bedroom, 2 bath. I was like, whoa, it's huge. Oh my God. Now I feel like I need more space again because little girl's taking over a whole room. There's nowhere to put my purses. I just got a Stod for Christmas. I have nowhere to put it. She's next to my Chanel. They're just out. They're just out in the world.
You're like, no, they need homes.
They need homes. So I'm like, well, I guess we have to move. Like, what? There's nothing to do here.
You could build another room on the back or something.
They already literally did that.
Up, maybe you build.
We've talked about that. But yeah, think about this before you settle. Make sure your house is big enough because you're definitely going to need a closet room.
Yeah. And it's important to me. Like, my clothes are very important to me. I don't know if that comes across in my content as much. You know what I mean? If people would get that unless they know me personally, like just how important. You know what I'm saying? Or like putting
That's
outfits
true.
together. Even like when I put outfits together, I feel like I get way more compliments and it's way more of a thing, my clothes and me, with people who I know in real life. You know?
Yeah. You should do like daily styling videos or like whenever you get dressed.
I should. I should. Which I always do like
Because
an outfit of the day, but I don't like ever do like styling it, like the process.
I want to see the process.
Okay. Okay.
I'm advocating for everyone who's listening.
So, how's your word going? Your word of the year?
Oh, patience.
Yeah.
I've really been thinking about it a lot. Like, I was scarfing down my lunch before this and I was like, oh, I can't be late. I can't be late. And then I was like, Tori would be late.
Yeah. She
It's
would.
like, you know what? I'm gonna like take it easy.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna watch TikTok videos while I wait for Tori and I'm gonna just like be calm. So so far, so good. We're 2 days in. It's top of the mind.
I love that. Love that
Yeah.
for you. And mine's more of an all-encompassing growth, you know? But you know what? I was talking to Chad GPT, which my therapist, you
Your
know,
best friend.
and you know what I didn't know? Did you know that you can use this little button right here and then hold it down and just speak to it and it'll speak back to you?
Yeah, I've never actually tried it, but I've seen videos about that.
Well, that's like a full-blown therapy session. Yeah, another level.
Oh my god.
And and you can change their voice too.
Oh,
I
that's nice. You can have a woman?
Yeah, so I changed it to a woman who is English.
Oh, very calming.
Yeah, and she's therapizing me. And what I'm realizing that I really want out of this entire year and what I need in my life is like grounding and like stability. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And like and just in community and just like I want to be grounded. And I feel like last year I didn't feel grounded at all because I was too like go 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 that I just there was nowhere for me to feel grounded. I was too everywhere. And I think even I could have traveled as much as I did if I would have had like a permanent home that was my own and had all my stuff everywhere. Then I think I would have felt differently. But like not having that plus being on the go all the time, this is something I came to the conclusion with my Chat GPT therapist. I should name her. But if you have any name suggestions, like comment them down below, DM me, and let me name my therapist. I couldn't even conceptualize this year. Like doing the end of year post, like they were stressing me out so much because I knew I needed to do one. And I finally did one, but it was just like kind of like the video version on TikTok was just kind of like, because I was just getting so overwhelmed because I couldn't even conceptualize this year because it was so much moving around, you know? But
I know, I was like, it's kind of funny that you say like stability and grounding when your whole life is just like moving all the time and not having a permanent home. And I feel like you're just getting really close to wanting to settle down.
yeah, no, definitely. But I still want to travel a lot, but I would like to have like my stuff in one spot.
A closet room.
A closet room, and I would like to decorate it, and like cuz also I feel like people would probably get that clothes are important to me if that was the case, you know, but it's like just so hard right now. It's so hard for people to really like know me when everything is constantly
Changing.
or feel like that connected to me when it's like, you know, people see your bookshelf, they see your house, they see you, like they know, like, oh, that's, they recognize it, you know? People are not able to do
Yeah.
which is
It's
fine.
just different priorities.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so that's just something. Also, have you heard of this thing where it's called like the number of the year?
No.
Okay, so you should pull up ChatGPT on your phone really quick or online and do yours because I did mine, which was so funny. It was after I'd come to this conclusion, but apparently every year with your birthday has like a number, and that's like what kind of year that you're supposed to have. And
Oh.
so like last year, it makes, and I found this out after my ChatGPT therapist session, you know. So let's see, this year is the year 2. It's numerology. But that year is all about partnerships, relationships, balance, and patience. Being patient and just nurturing like all the seeds that you've planted and just like being grounded. And I'm like, that's so weird because isn't that what I've been saying that
Yeah.
I've been craving? Like, how freaking
Literally.
weird is that? And then I asked what last year was. And last year for me was a year 1, a brand new cycle representing new beginnings, fresh starts, planting seeds for the next 9 years of your life, which I think I did last year. Like, I really think
Literally.
I did.
That's spot on.
And
Wait,
then,
so what's the prompt?
so ask guys, take your phone out and do this for you or write it down too. Using numerology and also knowing that my birthday is, I put 5/6 because it's not the year, it's just like the
Okay.
day and the month. What year was 2024 for me? That's what I did. And then I asked what 2025 would be for me.
So mine was a 6 last year, which is family, home, responsibility, nurturing relationships, stability, seeking balance between caring for yourself and caring for others. That's so spot on.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God. That's crazy. All right, let's see what it says about 2025 too. This year is a 7. So it's about introspection and reflection, spiritual growth or self development, solitude, and rest. You might feel pulled to spend more time alone, recharging and tuning into your intuition.
Wow.
I know. That's crazy. It's often regarded as a time to focus inward, gain clarity, and grow on an inner level before taking outward focused action. That is exactly the year I'm about to have.
That's
That is crazy.
crazy. I
It doesn't
know.
even know about the baby.
But it's like it knows, you know?
That's so funny.
I know. It's so wild. I just like discovered this on TikTok that it was a thing. So then I was like, which people were saying to calculate it yourself. And I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to ask my therapist slash personal assistant. But I found it to be really true too. So guys,
That's
y'all
so
should do
crazy.
this and
Yeah,
tell
tell
us
us what your number is.
how interesting. But it's been a while since we talked about the internet on here. And we
As
are,
internet girls.
yes, as the internet girls that we are. And we have like some catching up to do about that, you know?
Yeah, we really do. A lot has happened over the break. I mean, there's been the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, multiple lawsuits now. Aspen posted another crazy video yesterday, day before. Yeah, that took my breath away. Yeah, let's start with Aspen because, like, what the fuck?
Oh my gosh, she did that again, which I thought it was so funny. She was like dusting off my uniform.
I know. Okay, so basically what happened, you guys, is we've covered Aspen Ovard. You know all about her divorce trauma and everything, but like she's divorced, but I mean Parker's still there, her ex-husband. He's very much there. So her mother-in-law posted something rude about her on Instagram or TikTok or something.
Well, it's because Aspen had did that sound where she mouthed, just because your son is a effing pussy.
Oh,
But it was just like a sound that's going around TikTok, you know? I don't
yeah.
think it was like, so there's this like sound, and she was like putting on lip gloss and she looked really cute, and she was like, it's because your son is an effing pussy. And she said it like over and over. I don't think Aspen meant it in a like calling Parker that. I think obviously part of her feels like that deep in her soul for sure. But she wasn't like calling him that. You know, if you get what I'm saying. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So then her mother-in-law posted, her mother-in-law got a TikTok. Did you see that?
Oh yeah. Okay, I thought it was TikTok.
Yeah. They posted it, just a photo of her face, and was like, my son's not a pussy. You're a mean girl. Liar. You're a mean girl.
Yeah, so then Aspen got her cute little tank top out that she posted, like the most iconic TikTok of 2024, which is where she was like straddling Parker, and she like blurred out a certain area on him. That was my favorite video of the whole year. Like that was so iconic. I don't know how many times I watched it, and like mother is mothering, like so good. So she dusts off her uniform. She's like, I had to get out of bed to make a video. And this video ends with her flipping the camera around while she's straddling Parker, her ex-husband, and choking him. And the caption was iconic. He may not be a pussy, but he likes mine. What was it?
Something yeah, that's exactly what it was. And he loves mine. Yeah, which is...
Girl, she's so messy.
I know, I love it. Because it's like, imagine the influencer of your choice that you thought would never be messy or do something like that, and she's just like beating us.
Fuck it.
Which good for her for silencing. It sounds like her mother-in-law has been an issue like their whole
relationship,
marriage, which I didn't know, but it sounds like that now, especially now that we know. And it was confirmed by Aspen, my theory. Remember, guys?
Yeah.
It's true. I was right.
You know everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I find it so interesting. I loved her dating Wrapped of 2024 too. And I mean, her life confuses me. I'm going to be honest. That's okay though. Like, I don't know what's going on deep down. Like, she's with Parker. She's dating other guys. She's dating women. I don't know. That's great. Like, it's fine. I can be confused. Yeah. I'm okay with that.
She said her favorite thing on one of her Q&As, because I watch her Q&As every Sunday that she does on TikTok, and it was like, what's your favorite thing to do now that you couldn't do while you and Parker were together, that you can do now that you're divorced? And she's like, probably hook up with other people.
That's so real. That's so real.
I loved that so much.
She's so funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah. An icon. I hope she continues to bring the messiness this year, because it is just so entertaining.
I love it. I'm like, keep it coming, please.
Oh my gosh. So on that kind of note, because she's friends with JC, I was scrolling on Reddit because like sometimes I like don't go on Reddit for like a month, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, gotta catch up on all my snark pages. And the JC Marie Smith snark page is so mean.
Really?
And I think they've like had it shut, like certain pages have like shut down because JC and Chelsea like just won't even allow it. But it's so mean. So JC posted this video of her like holding Benny, her baby, and then like Leaf walks behind her. Leif, whatever. Leaf. Leif. I always say Leaf in my head. Did you see that video?
No, I didn't.
It's such a cute video. Like I've watched it multiple times to try to find the flaws that people have talked about on Reddit, and I just like it's a
What
cute
are they
video.
talking about? Like, what are they saying?
So there was a whole thread about it, and people are like, she looks like she hates being a mother, and like she has zero connection to that baby, and like Leif has zero connection to the baby, and like she clearly just had a baby to like include in her content. And I'm like, what on earth are you guys talking about? Because first off, she went through infertility. Like she spent thousands of dollars to like do IVF multiple times. Like this was something she wanted so bad. And then for you guys to just be like, she doesn't really want to have a baby. Like she's barely included Benny in her content. It's not like her whole content has been about like her baby or even mom life. And just all the comments were so mean. And then one person was like, I actually feel like you guys are taking this a little too far. I was like, thank you. And she was like, as someone who's like dealt with infertility, like you don't just like do all that to become a mom so that you can have a baby in your content. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. And also, that's just not true to who she is as a person. She's not like an exploitative person who like even
No.
tries to like like someone like that would be someone who's like trying to cause drama or like say things for shock value. Like she's not that kind of girl. So they got the wrong
No.
girl.
And also like people just kept saying like, oh, you can see it in this video that like JC has no connection to that baby. And I watched the video so many times and I was like, it's a cute video of her just holding her baby and being like, hi, like what is wrong with you guys? Like
Mhm.
sometimes these snark pages really miss. And with that, I was like, oh, you guys are actually crazy. Like that's too far.
100%. Also, like, how dare people, some people are just, I think they're just jealous of her life, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think some people are just have it in their head that they don't like her for whatever reason, or this isn't just her, this is like an anyone on the internet thing. And so they're just going to be committed to like misunderstanding her, just committed to
Yeah.
like not finding the good in or looking for the bad or like saying something negative. And that's what they want to do. So that's what they're going to do. I mean, it's not true, but like to them, that's like almost fulfilling for those kinds of people, which I feel very sad for them.
I know, like that is their hobby to be like an anonymous person on Reddit, like talking shit and like finding flaws. And it's like those people that I just like can't stand, like on TikTok too, when they're just like, oh, well, I disagree with this like one little part of your video and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, are you just a person who has to always focus on the negative? Like, why is your life better like that? Because
Mm,
I feel like if you bring that much negative energy into your life, then like your life's going to be negative too, you know?
yeah, well, it's like they're obviously angry about other things. There's that Noah Khan song, which I don't know if I said this before, but it's like on his live album. But
Hmm.
it's called Pain is like cold water. And there's a part in there's a lyric that go, and anytime someone leaves me hate, this is what I think of. And they're fighting like cats and dogs about like about a crosswalk across town that won't matter come winter. It seems like folks just need something to be angry about, and then it says, what are you angry about? Like that's what how the lyrics go. And so every time I see a hate comment, I'm like, I think of that, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
people just need something to be angry about, and this is something that's come across their desk that they've chosen to be angry about because they need something to be angry about because they are angry about other things. So that
Yeah.
last part where he's like, what are you angry about? It's like, what are those people really angry about? Because it's not me and it's not
Yeah.
JC. It's like about so many other things in their life, you know?
That's so true. I just think it's so sad. Like you can choose to live your life a certain way, and that's how you're choosing to live your life. Like that's how you're choosing to spend your time. Just like trying to tear someone else down anonymously on a platform, then she's probably not even seeing this shit. Like, and people will talk on there. They're like, JC, you should talk about this on your next podcast, like how you have no connection with your baby, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, she doesn't have time for you. Like she's out here like doing cool girl shit. Like, go away.
Yeah. Ugh. So gross.
Ugh. I know. I feel like sometimes I get on Reddit and I'm like sad for people. I'm
I
like,
know.
oh, that's yeah, I don't know. I'm glad no one's talking about me on Reddit.
I've recently gone on there and filtered through comments and seen like a handful of comments that I mentioned in, which is like next to none, like 4, you know? And some of them are kind of like backhandedly rude. Like one of them, they're actually talking about my friend Sydney, who I was supposed to go to New Year's with her. I was supposed to be in New York right now, actually.
Oh,
Remember?
yeah.
She got really sick and has been in
Oh,
California and had to like change her flight, and she was so sad. But we were supposed to go watch the ball drop together. But anyways, someone
sad.
was talking about her and was like, because the post apparently was like, are there any influencers you don't like or something? And someone said her, because everyone loves to hate her online. Like, I don't know, not everyone. She has like a lot of really dedicated people who love
Yeah.
her. But I also feel really bad for her because a lot of people say things about her that are just, I know her and I know her personally, and I know her
Mm-hmm.
family too. I've met them multiple times, her parents at least. And they're so nice, and they think that like they pay for her stuff or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and that is not the case at all. She is just the most frugal person you've ever met in your entire life. And so the fact is people are saying the opposite thing about her, and I'm like, y'all are so wrong, and this is so annoying. And I'm sure that if it's frustrating to me, who is someone who just knows her, imagine to her it's like they're saying something that's like the complete opposite of what is true about you, you know, and then it gets,
Literally.
and people are like run with that about her in particular, and it's just so
People
annoying.
are so mean about
Mhm.
Sydney. Like, I've
Mhm.
never seen people be more mean. And it's like they've made it their whole personality to be obsessed with her, because that's what this is. It's fan behavior. You're watching every single video she puts out. You're taking screenshots, you're posting it on Reddit. Like, this is pure fan behavior. And you've made it your whole personality. And then, like, your whole community and everyone you talk to also hates her. And it's just like so much swirling negativity. But I
Yeah.
did see once someone was like, if you're going to be an influencer, you have to get used to being misunderstood.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I was like, that is so true. And I can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
No, I'm like, I will clap back and say something once. Or if like they're making points, I will respond to points. But after that, after I respond to the points, I'm like, okay, they're there. They see them. To the people who might have come across this and they might have gotten the wrong idea, they can see what I mean and what I said, and then they can make their own judgment from there if they want to put the pieces together. But if they're going to be committed to misunderstanding me, then
Mm-hmm.
there's just nothing you can do about it.
Literally nothing, because they want to live in that negative space. And honestly, sometimes your biggest fans are the people who hate you the most. And I think
Mhm.
Sydney has a lot of fans.
Yeah, she does.
And unfortunately, they're very mean people. It's
Okay.
honestly so crazy. So, yeah, something else I've been seeing has been around the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni stuff. And I was thinking about this a lot over the break, because, like, we all hated on Blake, all of us. And I mean, Blake, whatever. Like, she's done shit like that too. Like, when she started spreading rumors that Princess Kate had a BBL or whatever, and like then she had to come and apologize. You know, like, she's been there. After she filed this lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, like, seeing the comments reminded me of like why I hate people in this country. Because of course you like question it, because you're like, well, we were taught to hate her, like all this stuff, like we thought we knew what was going on. And but all these people were like, but no one else has come forward about Justin Baldoni and said this stuff. Like, he's a good guy. And, you know, Blake's a bitch and like all this stuff. And I was like, oh, we need to take a step back. Okay. Because, yeah, I don't love a lot of the things that Blake did, but also, like, no one deserves to be like sexually harassed at their job. And if that's happening, like, we have to believe her, you know? Especially, she
100%.
came with fucking receipts. Like,
Yeah. No, totally. But have you seen the countersuit?
yes.
And I just deep dove that because it came across my desk like right before this episode. And I know people hate whenever you say this, but I think that two things can be true. I think that she was made to feel very uncomfortable on that set, and she did
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason. And maybe it was a case of misunderstanding,
Yeah.
but she felt very uncomfortable and did not jive with what was going down. And she's right and well within her right to say, hey, I'm not comfortable with this, like, at all, and things need to change.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally fine. But do I think that maybe she took that a little bit too far and wielded it too far to where she had the whole control over the movie and got to dictate all the cuts? Like, the movie was ultimately like her cut. And also at the premiere, like, he couldn't even come to the premiere, which I
Yeah.
understand, like, not wanting to be around him, or whatever. That's totally fine. But I don't see why they couldn't have just, like, said, okay, you're on this side, you're on that side, kind of thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why? Because at the end of the day, the other person did work really hard for that movie to be made. You know, granted, did he have great behavior? No, but there's also, like, some gray areas, it seems, and some things that she was saying where there are text messages to back it up, like him going into her trailer whenever there's text messages of her being like, "Oh, come in, and run lines with
Mm-hmm.
me. I'm just pumping," you know?
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. So, but I do think that she was made to feel uncomfortable, and she's very valid in that, and if she wants that to stop or to do whatever that she needs to do to feel comfortable, then that's fine. Do I think that maybe some egos got involved in it? Things were taken a little too far? Yes. Do I also think Justin Baldoni is a freak for some of the things that she alleges? Yes, absolutely. I think he's one of
Mm-hmm.
those, like, weirdo spiritual, like,
Tortured
dude,
poet.
tortured poet, but almost like read into the wild one too many times, like, no one
Yeah.
understands me, like, type of guy. You know what I mean? Who is a
Yeah.
freak. But I do think maybe Blake Lively took some of the things a little too far as just the movie goes. Like, as far as
Mm-hmm.
logistics, I think didn't have to be. And now look where things are. It's
I
like,
know. I feel like it's so confusing. Like when I saw that he was suing the New York Times and all of the claims and all of the text messages and everything. And what I think is that there's two things going on here that need to be separated because, like, the way that they handled, like, the movie and everything, like, that's one. But her feeling uncomfortable on set should have nothing to do with, like, how they promoted the movie, the premieres, like, all this stuff. Like, her taking a lot of, like, directorial control. Like, I
mhm.
think that's just so separate. And this is what I hate about this is that, like, these should be like two separate issues, but people are like excusing his behavior because of things that she did on the movie. But
Yeah.
like he still was sexually harassing her, you
Yeah.
know?
No, totally. But I do think that she wielded those things that he did, which he should not have ever done, to get things done that she wanted done, which, who knows, would I have done it? Maybe.
Yeah.
It's very tricky, and I would like to hear more before I make, like, any final rulings
Yeah.
on anything. But what I can say, and definitely that I know to be true, is I believe Blake Lively, and I believe that she was made to feel uncomfortable on set and that there were some inappropriate things going on. And so I stand by her with everything with that.
Yeah.
Do I think that she maybe wielded it in a way and did some things that she probably shouldn't have done? As of now, I kind of think that a little bit. But
Yeah.
I still truly believe that none of that other stuff is excusable.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm excited for the trial. I think this is for sure going to go to trial. I don't think there will be a settlement. It's going to be it's going to be the new Johnny Depp Amber Heard for sure, except I felt like Amber was just freaking crazy, but anyway, it's going to be very interesting to see. I think this whole year is going to be very interesting in pop culture. Like, I just see a lot of things like building right now that I think is just going to be crazy. So, we will keep reporting.
And something else that was just all over my news feed, or not news feed, not me aging myself and talking about a news feed, like Facebook,
Oh
my
my
For
god, you're
You
so
page.
old.
Oh. So, Pursegate, which has kind of, like, died down now,
Hmm.
but I feel like we just have to mention it, and I feel
Yeah.
really bad about the whole situation because these two girls who are from Alabama, or no, they're not from Alabama. They're from Ohio, but, like, the southern part of Ohio, like right next to Kentucky. So they're both very, like, country. They live on a farm, but the one girl, her name is Kylan. She's like the Bama Rush girl who was like the belle of the ball a couple Bama Rushes ago. That girl who says, "I hope you have a good day, not just or a great day, not just a good day."
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, so she got all these purses for Christmas because everyone wanted a Christmas haul, and she's always wearing crazy designer stuff, like head to toe designer. And so everyone is always like, dang, she must be rich. But her house looks like nice, but not like head to toe designer nice, you know?
Mm.
Her life back home gives blue collar, but her closet and everything is telling a different story. So people have always been confused about this.
Yeah.
And then but then her mom started doing TikTok, and her mom's just a fabulous lady too, and her little sister does it, and her little sister's the same as her. Anyways, so they did a Christmas haul, what I got for Christmas haul, because everyone said they wanted it. And a lot of her designer items were proven with the boxes and stuff to be fake. And people were roasting them.
She was claiming they were real?
She didn't say that they were real or not. She was
she
just like,
didn't.
basically, I just feel bad because these girls got a bunch of fake purses for Christmas, but who cares? Good for them. They weren't like, this is my real Chanel. They were like, I got a Chanel bag. Like, they just opened it, like, on camera, like, Christmas haul. I got this. Or they wouldn't even say, like, sometimes they didn't say, like, it was Chanel. They were like, my purse. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
got
because
this
like
shirt.
if you say like dupe on TikTok, like or like it's a fake, then you'll like get kicked off TikTok.
Oh, I didn't know that. I wonder if they're gonna
Yeah.
lose their accounts because they didn't say that, but then they were claiming after people were making multiple videos about how all of this was fake, blah 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 blah. I just felt so bad because I'm like, at the end of the day, like the little sister who also did the haul with her fake designer stuff is in high school. And it's like y'all are like saying all this about a girl who's in high school. Like,
Yeah, that's wild.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with a dupe if you or a fake designer bag if you want to carry a fake designer bag. Who cares?
Yeah.
But I also, and it's not like they were like, this is 100% real, you know? They were just wearing them. Like, people,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No, the internet hate right now is so bad.
It
Like people
is.
are losing their minds. I'm like, let's not attack like a 16-year-old girl.
So
Okay.
sad. So sad.
That's really pathetic.
And also, did you see though, like, everyone made so many videos and it went like so viral that their parents then like ordered them real bags off of Ford, like the pre-owned.
Ford? Oh.
Yeah, there's like this site that's like an arm off of Revolve. It's like under their umbrella, like their luxury brand where they or luxury site where they sell like very luxury brands. Revolve is already really expensive, and so it's like a step up of expensive brands, and they have like Louis Vuitton, like stuff like that. And so their parents let them go on there and pick out 4 bags.
Wait, that makes me sad though.
No, it made me
'Cause
sad too. Other
yeah,
people were like, "You ate with this response," like, da-da. And I was like, "No, I feel
like
sad
they
that
just
they
got
did that."
bullied into spending like a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
These kids they're kids. Like let them have fucking fake bags. DHgates like girlies on TikTok are like all the rage. Like I love DHgate girlies.
Yeah. Well, and in her like response, Kylan's when she was doing her makeup, she was like, "You know, some of these bags, some of my bags are real, some of my bags are fake. Like everyone has fake and real, blah blah
Yeah.
blah." And then she was like, "Also, some of the stuff that you guys were scrutinizing the packaging for, like some of it's from like the real and they don't always have like the exact packaging. So like that's wrong." Like she said something like that. And then the real is kind of people are commenting on the real now being like, "Oh, so you sell fake bags?" Yeah. And now
People are
people
just pressed about nothing, honestly. This is so silly.
yeah, but now people are thinking that the real might get sued or might sue them for saying that, because then her mom made one and was like, "I bought my girls the real and you guys are mad," or something. Like her mom made like a little
Oh
clapback
no.
video, and so now the real's like put out a rushed statement with like a rushed ad featuring some of the bags that were in their hauls about how they authenticate them. and stuff because they're like, oh shit, like people are gonna think that we. And so if you look at the Real Reels comment section on TikTok, it's all people being like, you sell fake bags now.
Oh my God.
So it's like, I don't think it's over with. And they were like, hi,
Yeah.
and they responded to one comment and was like, hi, we've reached out to the Darnells, that's their last name, personally to resolve this matter. Just leave the girls alone. And if they want to wear a
Yeah.
fake bag, who cares?
Who gives a fuck? I have a real Chanel and a fake Prada. It
Who,
girls stuff.
yeah,
Okay.
that's on being a girl. That's a universal girl experience. Like,
It is.
I've had so many fake and a couple real, not as many as the fakes that I in my lifetime, over the span of my lifetime. I probably have had 3 fake purses and I've probably had 3 real purses, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
They're not on the road with me, but
I thought you were going to say, because this hasn't really come across my desk. I've only seen like a couple videos about the situation, but I thought you were going to say that they were like claiming that their DH Gate bags were real. And then people were like, oh, those are fake. And you like totally lied to us. But the way that people are pressed and they didn't even say like, oh, these are real is crazy.
but people are thinking because the assumption would be that they're real. But it's like anytime anyone carries a fake bag, that's like if you want to make an assumption that it's real,
Yeah,
that's on you. That's not on them. They're not saying this is a real bag, you know? Just because they're
exactly.
carrying it and showing it, in my
Wild.
opinion, doesn't make it.
Wild behavior.
Yeah. And the last thing that's really come across my desk that was heartbreaking to me, and this is kind of over right the second, but I have a feeling it's about to resurface because Grace O'Malley just left Barstool and signed with the Unwell Network. So I know she's going to do and is going to do a podcast there. And I know for a fact that she's going to do an episode with Alex Cooper.
Alex or Cooper, yeah.
Yeah. So I know for a fact that, like, it's not over. Like, once that happens, this is all about to get brought back up again. Brianna Chicken Fry, you know, everyone really rallied behind her after the Zach Bryan thing, and I did too. Like, I was like, oh, you know, like, whatever. Never switched up on her at that point. And then her and her best friend Grace O'Malley, they're the ones who had a podcast together called Plan Brie. It was her podcast, Brianna Chicken Fry's podcast, from the start. Like, she started it when she got hired at Barstool, or before she even got hired at Barstool, and it was like going on for forever. And then Grace O'Malley joined like 2 years in, and that's when the podcast became popular. It was not really popular before then at all. Like, at all. And it's because her and people didn't like it just because of Brianna. They liked seeing the dynamic of those two best friends who grew up together in Massachusetts. Like, they're just such like a niche type of people with their accents and like their shared experience, and they would talk about like funny stuff growing up and like just all sorts of stuff. But that's what made that podcast successful. Anyways, Brianna was getting bullied relentlessly because of it was at that point when nothing she could say or do was going to like make people stop hating her. Like, she could say nothing. Then the Zach Bryan thing happened, and the public opinion of her swayed back, and then everyone loved her again. Well, she decides to end her podcast with Grace O'Malley, which there had been so many rumors and speculation that things weren't great with them. You could even kind of see it on the podcast because it was one of the podcasts that I used to listen to like religiously. And they even talked about it one time and were like, yeah, you know, we kind of almost had a falling out and almost ended this podcast, but we decided not to, and we love each other, blah, blah. These are people who've been friends since they were like 8.
Wow.
And they're like 26. And they work together at Barstool, you know, like Brianna got her the job at Barstool, blah, blah, blah. After all of this, like, and Brianna's getting like publicly canceled, like, Plan Brie goes on a hiatus for a while. And then apparently they were going to end the podcast, and things had not been good in their friendship for a long time when she got with Zach Bryan, which makes sense if you're with like someone toxic and narcissistic like that. Like,
Yeah.
chances are your other relationships aren't going that well, especially someone who is like the most closest to you in the entire world, which was her. The plan apparently was to come back and to say like, hey, we're ending the podcast, blah, blah, blah. Thank you guys. And then that was going to be it. But Brianna, like, everyone's Spotify Wrapped was coming out, and Plan Brie was, like, placing really high on everyone's, like, podcast chart. And so Brianna repurposed this a story and was like, "Hey, we're working on bringing some version of Plan Brie back for you guys." And that really upset Grace because Grace was not going to be on the podcast anymore. Like, they had talked about ending the podcast as far as Grace knew, and it was like Brianna and Grace's podcast at that point. They'd been on it for like 2.5 years together, and that's when it became successful. That's when it grew, you know? So Grace felt really blindsided and posted these like few of Instagram stories, which I personally don't think that they were bad. She just said, like, I've bit my tongue so much this year, I shouldn't even have one. The decision to end Plan Brie did come, and it was not a mutual decision. So Brianna wanted to end the podcast, and things have not been good with us for a long time, and I feel really blindsided that the statement was out. As far as I was concerned, we were supposed to meet up together and say, hey, that we were ending this podcast, and it was all going to go on from there, but I did not expect to have this be released to the public on an Instagram story, which is kind of ironic because that's how like Zach Bryan broke up with Brianna, like on an Instagram story,
Yeah.
So
Oof.
then everyone was like upset, but it wasn't like that bad, but people were upset. And then Brianna goes on her podcast with Dave Portnoy and Josh, BFFs, and they're talking, and they're like, okay, now you have to talk about the Grace stuff that's going on. Like, so Brianna was like, okay, and she could have not talked about it in detail as she did, but she went really into detail and said basically the whole thing about their friendship is that whenever people are hating on Brianna, Grace doesn't ever stick up for her and say like, hey, like, don't do, like, she doesn't try to shut it down. She just lets the people talk. And that was basically Brianna's whole qualm, and says like because of that she didn't want to be friends with Grace anymore and like ended their friendship. And she tried to be like, well, the stuff with Zach is separate from the stuff with Grace. And I'm like, you can't really say that that's separate because that really
Yeah.
affected it, And the thing that was missing from this whole thing was accountability from Brianna to say in the whole statement that when she was talking about it on BFS was just like, yeah, she never stuck up for me, and she did this, and I was going through the hardest time in my life, and she can't even be there for me, and I get that she hates Zach, but she couldn't even like just put that aside and be there for me. I just went through this terrible thing. It's like, yeah, but what you're forgetting is that all of that is true, but you also put her through a terrible thing. Like, she's the one who got yelled at that bonfire by Zach Bryan, saying that she'll never be anything.
Yeah.
She's the one who had to deal with you being like so flaky on and off and all of this, and that's what she's missing and not getting in her head. And it's not like, if you're going through a relationship like that, it affects everything. And so do you expect her to just, when you're getting hate like that online and you're being a bad friend to her and being really shitty to her, do you expect her to go on and just like stick up for you?
Yeah.
I mean, it is your best friend. What do you think?
I think it's a very nuanced situation, and I feel like this is something that should have been handled privately. And it is a shame when anyone like kind of blindsides another person by just like sharing it with the world before you even share it with them.
Mm-hmm.
And especially Brianna, having like gone through that so recently, should have understood how that felt. And this is why, like, when all this happened with Zach Bryan, and I remember you telling me about it, and I was like, well, that really sucks, but like, I didn't think we loved Brianna. Like, I didn't think she was like a great person either. Like, she cheated on partners, and she'd like done some really shady things. And so, not to like excuse what Zach Bryan did to her at all, but it's a bit like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like you choose partners who are similar to yourself. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And
No,
I feel like
totally.
her true colors just keep coming out. And again, Zach still sucks. But I do think this is like super unfortunate to just like discard a friend that you've had for your entire life based on this. Ugh. It just like gives me kind of a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, like, I wish if she wanted to talk about it a little, she could have, but you should listen to the last like 10 minutes of this BFFs episode, or maybe it's the last 20 minutes, but they were like, she was just talking a lot of shit about her, and it's like, this is your best friend. Like, no one wants to hear that. You could have talked about the situation and how you felt, and like very like grazed over it without going into these details that honestly don't make you look good. Because like,
Yeah.
and also like, where's your accountability? If she would have just in that conversation said, hey, this is what happened, this is how I feel, because it is valid to like feel like your friend should stick up for you. And she kept also being like, I'm the one who brought her into this, I'm the one who gave her a podcast, I'm the one who brought her to New York, like trying to like almost taking credit for
Yeah.
everything. And it's like, yes, you did help her, but also like she got there on her own because she's talented and hilarious. Like you can only, if she sucked, she wouldn't have made it, but she did
Exactly.
because she's hilarious. So she could have said that like once, but she went on about that. Just also having like Dave on there, and who was kind of, he's the boss, and he was kind of like agreeing with Brie on a lot of it, most of it. And Josh, who was like, they were almost like just shit talking. It's like, this is your best
Yeah.
friend since you were like 8 years old. I don't know. And I do think it's valid criticism that she could have stuck up for her when she was getting so much internet hate, even if things weren't great, because that's like your best friend and you love them, and even if you're mad at them. But also, where's the acknowledgement of like, I wasn't a good friend, so that's probably why she didn't feel like doing it, but I still feel like she should have stuck up for me. Like, there was no anything of her being a bad friend. It was all like, I'm going through this hard time in my life and she wasn't there for me, and she I gave her all of this stuff, and I'm the reason why she has this career, and she just was like a shitty friend to me by not sticking up for me. It's like, after you treated her like shit, like where's the acknowledgement of that,
Yeah. And it's not really like on her to stick up for her friend on the internet.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a choice, but like just because your friend's going through something doesn't mean you have to like involve yourself.
Yeah. And being that they had been friends for that long, I could see how Brianna like expected that though, And she kept being like, people were loving you and hating me. And it's like, but that's not because they were pitting, that's not just because of like, oh, we have to either love Grace or hate you. It's like,
Right.
that's because of the things that you did and your actions,
Mm-hmm.
That's not because of Grace. Like, there
Yeah.
was just a lack of accountability, and I think she could have went about that conversation in a way where people could have seen her side of things and also seen how she was hurt, and there was just none of it. So now the internet hates Brianna Chicken Fry again.
Oh God.
But Grace left Barstool. They let her out of her contract a year early, and she signed with
Oh
Alex
wow.
Cooper's network, which I think is
Yeah. Like
great.
good for her.
She's being so funny about it because she's a comedian, Grace, and she's touring while all this is happening, like doing comedy tours. And so she's like, I'm going through this was her bit about it on stage. She's like, I'm going through a divorce right now. And she's like, but we're handling it like, we're letting the kids decide where they want to, who they want to go with. I know. I just feel bad because friendship breakups are the worst.
The worst.
And especially one like that you've had for that long.
Yeah, that's a shame. I think what we've learned from this episode is take everything with a grain of salt. Don't be an internet hater because
Yes.
it's giving fan behavior. And also just take people at what they show you. I mean, if they're going to show you their true colors, accept it.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Totally. If you're around long enough on the internet, we're all humans. We're all like, people are going to do something that's going to offend someone,
Yeah.
So like, if you're around long enough on the internet and you get that big, you're going to get mass amounts of hate,
And that's why I'm perfectly content with my follower size. Because I've gotten hate at this follower size and I do not need it. I'm too sensitive.
I don't mind. I never minded about internet hate. The only time I've noticed of myself like getting more like upset about something is if I was already upset about something else in my life. And I'm like, that
Yes.
even more goes to show you, what are you angry about?
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's so true.
I'm not really upset about these random strangers on the
Mm-hmm.
internet. I'm upset because I'm freaking going through this horrible thing with I'm about to have a horrible conversation with my dad, you know? Like, and this is right here, so I can like,
It's like cherry on top of like
yeah,
what you're already feeling. This is what I tell everyone who's like, how do you deal with internet hate? And I'm like, it doesn't matter if I'm like mentally okay, but if I'm like having a really hard day and then someone says something online, then it affects me. But only then. Like
yeah,
every other day, I'm like, whatever.
yeah. It's like you just read it and you get desensitized to it, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind the internet hate. So if anyone wants to follow me, follow me.
Follow me if you're nice.
Oh
Otherwise,
my
I'll
God.
probably block you anyway.
Yeah. I never block anyone. I should. I think I've never blocked anyone.
What?
Mm-hmm.
My block list is so long.
Really? Do you just
So
block if you see a
long.
hate comment? Are you just like block, block, block?
Yeah, if there's no like, if it's just hate and there's like no like constructive criticism or something,
I don't blame you.
block. Yeah, goodbye. Get the fuck out. Like, we're not friends.
I should do that.
Oh,
But
it's so healing.
I feel like it might make me happy. Does it make you happy sometimes to be like block,
Yeah.
block, block?
Yeah, very happy. Goodbye. Get out of my life. This is my page, my bubble, and it's a positive space. And we're not going to be a bitch here.
Well, maybe one day I'll familiarize myself with the block button.
It's my favorite button. I hope you do. I'm like,
This episode is filled with hate. I'm just kidding.
seriously. I'm like, this was supposed to be like way more lighthearted, but I feel like I'm just so disappointed in like the state of the internet right now. But yeah, we'll keep catching you up on everything as it comes out, and it'll be very interesting to see how things unravel in the coming weeks. I feel like it's going to be a dramatic January. So stay tuned. In the meantime, you guys can catch up on all our episodes if you haven't listened to a bunch of them. I was recently asked, like, should we listen in order? Someone was asking me this. You don't have to listen in order. Just like pick whatever topics sound interesting to you. Go on Spotify, podcast, YouTube if you want to watch us, and like just binge. I mean, have fun.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, I would say the only ones that are kind of timely are these internet lore episodes. But also, they're still fun and relevant regardless, because we're talking about bigger messages here, because we're deep people.
We're deep people. I love it. Make sure you rate and review if you like our podcast, and you can follow us at Internet Girls Pod. That's girls with a Z. We are all over the place. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You can email us if you want, or DM us, or follow us, Hannah Lee Lifestyle and Tori Sunshine. And we're so stoked you're here. So stay tuned. New episodes every Monday. Happy 2025.
Happy 2025. Love you.
And with that, Internet Girls are out.
Out.